If your cruise itinerary says Bilbao, there's one important thing to know before you arrive. Your ship won't actually dock in Bilbao. Cruise ships dock in Getxo, which is around 20 kilometers or 12 miles from the center of Bilbao. I recently visited Bilbao on Liberty of the Seas, and in this video, I'll take you through 10 things you need to know about Bilbao Cruise Port, including how to get from Getxo into Bilbao, the main options once you arrive, what you can realistically fit into a cruise day, and what to do if you'd rather stay closer to the ship. The first thing you need to understand is where your ship actually docks, because Bilbao isn't a port where you step straight off the ship into the city center. Cruise ships dock in Getxo, which is around 20 kilometers from central Bilbao, and the cruise port itself is bigger than you might expect. When I visited, Liberty of the Seas and P&O Arvia were both in port at the same time, and the ships were berthed along a long pier, so there can be quite a bit of walking before you've even properly started your day. Once you come off the ship, you'll head along the pier towards the terminal area. It's a fairly small cruise terminal, with toilets, tourist information, and Wi-Fi available, along with the main transport options for getting into Bilbao. There aren't any shops or duty-free areas like you find at some larger cruise ports, so it's very much somewhere you pass through rather than spend much time. And from the port, you've got a few different options for getting into Bilbao. Most cruise lines offer a shuttle into the city, taxis are available from the port, and you can also use public transport. Or, if you don't want to go into Bilbao at all, you can stay in Getxo and explore the waterfront, beach, and local area instead. There are 4 main ways to get from Getxo Cruise Port into Bilbao. You can use the cruise shuttle, take the metro, get a taxi, or book a shore excursion. If you just want the simplest way of getting from the cruise terminal into Bilbao, I'd start by looking at the cruise shuttle. The shuttle buses run regularly between Getxo and central Bilbao, and they drop passengers at Plaza Moyua. The price varies depending on the cruise line, so check on board for the cost on your sailing. Plaza Moyua is right in the center of the city. From here, you can walk to the Guggenheim Museum, head towards the riverfront, or make your way into the Old Town without needing any more transport. This is a particularly easy option if you just want to get off the ship and head straight into Bilbao. The main thing to check is exactly how the shuttle is operating on your cruise. Make sure you know where it drops you, where you need to pick it up again, and most importantly, what time the last shuttle returns to Getxo. If you're spending the afternoon in the Old Town, it's easy to lose track of time, and you'll still need to allow time to get back across the city to Plaza Moyua before the final shuttle leaves. If you want to use public transport, the metro is the cheaper way of getting from Getxo into Bilbao. The station I used was Neguri, and the first part of the journey is getting there from the cruise terminal. Once you leave the terminal, you'll walk through Getxo towards the waterfront and Arriaga Beach before heading inland towards Neguri station. On Google Maps, the walk doesn't look particularly difficult, but it was longer than I expected. There are some slopes and steps around the beach area, so although it's perfectly manageable, I wouldn't describe it as a flat or effortless walk. Once you reach Neguri station though, the journey becomes very straightforward. You can buy your ticket from the machine at the station, and a return ticket costs around €4. From Neguri, you need Metro Line 1 heading towards Exabari or Basauri. For the route I took, I traveled from Neguri to Moyua, which takes around 24 minutes and is roughly 10 to 12 stops depending on the service. You arrive right in central Bilbao, close to the main shopping streets, and within walking distance of the Guggenheim Museum. The metro itself is easy to use, and where I think the metro becomes particularly useful is on the return journey. If you follow the route I did through Bilbao and finish the day in the Old Town, you don't need to walk all the way back to Moyua. You can catch Metro Line 1 from Casco Viejo towards Plencia and get off at Neguri. From Casco Viejo, it's around 9 stops back. You then have the walk from Neguri station back through Getxo to the cruise terminal, so remember to factor in time for that at the end. You've also got taxis and shore excursions from Getxo. A taxi into central Bilbao is roughly €30 to €40 each way. And if there are 3 or 4 of you traveling together, splitting the fare can make it a reasonable option. Uber and Bolt also operates in Getxo and Bilbao. If you plan to use either, I'd download the app and set up your account before the cruise. For Bilbao itself, I don't think you need a shore excursion. Where an excursion makes more sense is if you want to go further afield, somewhere like San Sebastian. Whether you arrive by cruise shuttle or metro, you'll arrive around Plaza Moyua in central Bilbao. From here, you've got a few different options, depending on what you want to see. If you want to visit the Guggenheim Museum, I'd head there first. It's around a 10 to 15-minute walk from Plaza Moyua. After the Guggenheim, you can follow the riverfront past some of Bilbao's modern architecture and public art, continue towards the Zubizuri Bridge, and then head on towards Arriaga Theatre and Casco Viejo. Or you can head straight towards Casco Viejo and spend more of the day there instead. One of the questions I had before visiting Bilbao was whether going inside the Guggenheim would take up too much of the day. In my experience, it doesn't have to. I visited the museum and still had plenty of time afterwards to continue towards the old town. If you do want to go inside, I'd pre-book your ticket. You may still need to queue to leave a bag before entering the galleries, which happened when I visited, so allow a little extra time for that. Even if you don't go inside, the Guggenheim area is still worth seeing. The building itself is one of Bilbao's main landmarks, and Puppy, the giant flower-covered dog outside, is right by the entrance. From there, I'd continue on foot along the river towards Casco Viejo. The walk takes you past modern architecture, bridges and public art, including the Zubizuri Bridge, before you reach the area around Arriaga Theatre and the entrance to the old town. If you want a more detailed cruise port guide, I have them on my website, solotravel1974.com. I'll leave the link in the description. Once you reach Casco Viejo, which is Bilbao's old town, I'd slow the pace down and explore on foot. It's compact and largely pedestrianized, with narrow streets, historic buildings, small squares, and plenty of shops, bars and cafes. A good place to start is around Arriaga Theatre before heading into the 7 streets, which form the historic heart of Casco Viejo. You don't need to follow a set route, just wander. Santiago Cathedral sits right in the middle of the old town, and from there, I'd make time for pintos. You'll find pintos bars throughout Casco Viejo, with small dishes lined up along the counters, so it's easy to stop for 1 or 2 as you go. Plaza Nueva is one of the best places for this, with bars all around the square. The best thing about Casco Viejo on a cruise day is that everything is close together, so once you're here, you can see a lot simply by walking. There are a few other ways you can spend your time in Bilbao depending on how much you want to see and how much walking you want to do. If you want to see more of the city, the hop-on hop-off bus is one option, and can help you cover more of the wider area without doing quite as much walking. I'd still explore Casco Viejo on foot though, because that's the best way to see the area. You could also take the Alexander funicular for views over Bilbao. If you've been to Bilbao before, this is where a shore excursion further afield somewhere like San Sebastian may make more sense. I've also put a few excursion options in the description, including the hop-on hop-off bus and pre-booked Guggenheim Museum tickets. This is one part of the day I wouldn't leave to chance. If you're using the cruise shuttle, remember that the pickup is back at Plaza Moyua. From the old town, I'd allow around half an hour to walk back and make sure you know when the last shuttle leaves. If you use the metro and you end your day in Bilbao in the old town, Casco Viejo is the closest station, so you can take line 1 back towards Neguri without retracing your route across the city. Just allow enough time for the walk from Neguri back to the cruise terminal as well. And finally, if you've already visited Bilbao, or simply don't want a full day in the city, staying in Getxo is a genuine alternative. Close to the cruise terminal, you've got the waterfront, marina, and the promenade around Arriaga Beach. It's a completely different sort of port day. You can walk along the coast, spend some time around the beach and marina, and have a much slower day. It could be a good option for families, or if you simply want a beach day, rather than heading into the city. It could also work well if you only want to spend part of the day in the city, and then spend some time walking along the Getxo waterfront, before returning to the ship. Bilbao takes a bit of planning because the cruise port is outside the city, but La Coruña is very different. You can walk straight from the ship into the center, and I've covered exactly what you need to know in my La Coruña cruise port guide. That's the video on screen now.